Hello and welcome to rockmanx.org. In this lesson, this is the first lesson where we are gonna make a hello world program where we print some text, and we are also gonna show you how to write comments. And to start with comments, we have two ways to comment text. And why do you want to use comments? Well, to explain what you are doing. Like for me example, I've just removed those asterisks here. They won't make any difference, by the way. It just looks more nice having them there, I think, for each line. Anyway, lesson 1. Teach a programmer how to write comments. Print text, so it's readable on the screen. We will do that by making a hello world program. That's the standard thing. And when I'm making this comment, it starts with a that's a slash, and then an asterisk, and you end it by typing an asterisk, then a slash. And just to be sure I'm using the correct name, I have this website here, forum.wordreferences.com showthread blah blah blah, where the number is 101066, and here you have a lot of good names for special characters. And here you see there's a slash, then you have the backslash from left to right, and from right left to right, but top left to bottom right will be a backslash, and from bottom left to top right will be a slash. So yeah, this is a slash. And the other way to make a comment is by using a double slash. It works for single line. If now I continue on the next line here, it will just type a lot of things there. It won't make any sense there. You see, I'm getting an error, syntax error, and then it points to a source annotations.h file, white characters, blah blah blah. You don't want that to appear, so I'll just remove the F here, where I can just Control Z. There we go, and there we go. Yeah, and here you see an example where I'm using actually a comment. That's just to show you how you define a verbal and also a function. So this is the function part. And you see variables are made this way here. So that part and that part, that's what I'm actually showing here. So you start by having a function type, and function type that can be, for example, you have int, char, bool, which means true and false returning, and you have string, float, and double. That's what I can think of that you usually need, and of course void, the most important one. Well, they're all important really. But we are using int, which means integer. So we are returning an integer in this lesson. And then you have a variable where you make the variable type, and that's what I show you, integer, character, etc. And then you have the name on the variable, which you usually can name whatever you want, but don't use null, because it's already defined, really. If I just type this, return... No, it's not defined there. But you see, it's defined somewhere, if you can find it, in stdio.h. There it's already defined. So there's some certain words you can't use. You can either type it like this, return null, or you can just type a 0, which will be the same thing. When you're using integer, you need to return something. As for this example, function type depends if you're using a void or something else. If you use void, then you don't need a return type. But if you use integer, character, etc., you need to return something. And then you have the code lines between here. So here it goes for the same. You initialize a variable, and when it comes to code lines, you have to end them with a semicolon. And usually you want to initialize the variables before you use them, but it depends on what you're gonna use them for. So here we go for yeah. Example here, you see I have typed stdc out, stdc out, stdc in, and yeah, that's what I have here. And that's because I'm using include IOStream, where I means input and O means output. So this is in and output stream. So either you type something into the program and it handles it, or you want something to be shown. So you return something here. Hey, if you just use std using namespace std, you don't have to type std blah 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 when it comes for these things. And you have also something called andl, which means and line. So for example, I can just type andl here. Now it will make a new line here. So after Norway, I should get the pointer mark in this window to go down a line. Where you see it's one line below, flashing below M. And if I remove that part here, it should be after the line itself. But on the same line here, after the dot, yes. So that's the difference using. But we can also type it like this, \nn, Control and F5. What? Oopsie. What I'm doing wrong now. There. You need that. I have to remove that quote. Thanks. There you go. So it goes down one more line. And the reason why I'm typing sin.get is when you open up an exe file, execute, that means it will close itself at once you open it, actually, in the same second, within the same second, yeah, really, believe me. That's why I type c.get here. If I remove it, and I compile, like the project once more, so it just open and close itself. So when using sin.get, Control Alt and F7, hey, it appears. And it will stand like that till you press the enter button or till when it quits itself. Really. And as I told you, we need to return something, and we return a value, and we will just return 0. And when you make also a function, you need a parenthesis after the function name, you need a parenthesis and maybe parameters, could be int argc and char argv, or like that. Shouldn't make any difference, which it doesn't, but I will just remove that. We don't use them at all. So start with a curly left brace, and we end it with a curly right brace, or brackets they are also called. Braces, brackets, whatever you want to call them. So here we go, the first program of lesson 1. I hope this was interesting. Well, it's not that big thing, believe me, it's not. I got something better here. Let me show you my math and release my math.exe, and here you have English and Norwegian parts, and here we want the a, b and c values for a quadratic function, so let's go for it. -3, 7, -1. Here we go. This is more interesting, right? That's what you want, really, after some time by programming. But here I'm not only using C++, but also OpenGL. And quitting it by pressing Alt and F4. Yay. So, end of lesson 1, and I want you to have a nice day further on, and take care, and see you in lesson 2.